everyone, welcome back to Live Darts. We're here in Dublin at the City West and we've got PDC Chief Exec Matthew Porter. Matt, thanks for joining us.
No problem, Phil.
Busy year since we've last spoke at the World Cup. World Series, obviously all went. How did that go in terms commercially and everything?
Yeah, it was great. You know, we tried some new cities, particularly Hamilton in New Zealand, which was a roaring success. You know, fantastic arena, great crowds. You know, we had unbelievable stories with Damon Heta winning in Brisbane. It was, look, the World Series is well established now, and it's a concept that we're pleased with, something that works for us and something we'll carry on doing long into the future.
Have you had time to sit down and look at the numbers yet, whether the new areas worked or didn't?
Yeah, I mean, we know Australia and New Zealand are good markets for us. You know, Las Vegas is a tricky one because when you go there, you obviously get people who want to go there on holiday, but we know for the American darts community, it's not their core area. And it's obviously expensive. It's an unpopular time of the year for people to travel, with it being July the 4th week. That's from a US point of view. So we're reviewing that to see if that's the most appropriate thing for us to carry on doing going forward, or if we should look, you know, somewhere else. But certainly North America remains part of our plans.
Just touching on what you said there, there's been a lot of chat on social media forums about that. I'm guessing somewhere on the East Coast in terms of a darting audience would make more sense.
It would, yeah, and it's, you know, it sounds easy, but obviously there's lots of things that have to fall into place, but that's something we're looking at, yeah.
Any other new territories on the horizon to do a World Series?
Possibly, yeah, you know, it's a pretty obvious format that we pick. You know, we try different events in different territories at a smaller level. If they work, then we can grow. So, you know, I can't give too much away at the moment for contractual reasons, but you know, you could probably put two and two together, and if you had a look at our calendar for next year and see where things might be happening.
Match play as well, second biggest major ranking event, whatever you want to call it, has taken place. A huge success in Blackpool again this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's so well established and also so well loved, isn't it? You know, everybody speaks so fondly of the match play, whether it's players or fans, you know, and it's, you know, it always produces the players at their best and produces some great stories, you know, and this year was no exception. It was fantastic for Rob to win another really big tournament, you know, to follow up that World Championship and show that he is a class act who deserves to be at the top of the rankings.
One thing we've noticed as well, PDC have done a great thing with the secondary ticket market recently, taking 2,000 tickets off of those and putting them back on sale to general fans. Is that something you're very conscious of doing more of? It
is, yeah, and you know, the World Championship is so popular and sells so well that we feel it's the right thing for us to do. You know, people are flagrantly breaching our terms and conditions. You know, they are placing tickets on secondary sale for higher inflated prices. They have no intention of going to the darts. Frankly, they don't deserve to be able to get away with that. We have an ethical resale platform, which is C Tickets Fan to Fan, where you can sell the ticket for face value plus a reasonable administration charge to cover your postage and things like that. And that's what we would encourage people to do. If they buy a ticket and they can't go because they bought it a long time ago and they got ill or they have to work or whatever happens, you know, then that's fine. But when people just hoover up tickets to then resell them immediately, then that's not on, and we will do what we can to prevent that happening.
The ones you took off, do you know the culprits that bought them?
In most cases, yes. Yeah.
Would they be banned from purchasing tickets again?
Yeah, that's easier said than done as well.
I appreciate that,
but yeah, we do monitor. There's a difference between professional resellers. You know, you find people who buy hundreds of tickets, and what, you know, you can see their sales history from other events as well, or the box office can, and they can flag them up as professional resellers, and you know, that's different to, you know, somebody who just buys 4 tickets and thinks he'll try and nick 20 quid a ticket off it, you know, which is just pointless two bob stuff really. So yeah, we monitor it as best we can and try and prevent people who we know are doing it deliberately from continuing to do it.
Just going back on the World Series, one thing I forgot to mention was the delayed coverage for the Australian one. Got quite a bit of criticism on social media.
It's interesting. So it works to have the event out in the evening because it gets a decent viewing figure, and not many people want to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever and watch live darts, and I get that. But obviously with social media having grown so much since the early days of us going to Australia and New Zealand, sort of 2013, 2014, which is a long time ago now, 5 or 6 years, and in the digital age, that's a long time and things move fast. And that is something we've discussed with ITV about next year, whether it can be, because technologically it can be shown live. That's not a difficult thing to do, it just needs to be scheduled. So that's something we're looking at for next year. I mean, we looked at it, our social media guys, whether it was the right thing for us to do to have separate social media feeds. You guys were putting all the spoilers out by telling everyone what the scores were, but maybe these days that's what people want to happen, you know. So it's something we're reviewing for next year, and maybe next year we will try and show it live, yeah.
I suppose in the UK as well, it didn't help the fact that Era Sports in Ireland was showing it live, and most people in the UK had access to Era Sports as well.
There's all sorts of little things that broadcasting throws up, and that was one of them.
Looking forward, obviously, here in Dublin, tournament so far that throws up many surprises across the year because of the unique format. Crowd on opening night was brilliant. And then, obviously, I know logistically this isn't the easiest place to get to, and the players commented last night that the crowds weren't great. Is there anything PDC can do to try and encourage people out of the city for those few days?
I mean, we do free kids tickets. The ticket prices are very cheap. It's €21. Try and find something you can do for €21 that gives you 4 or 5 hours worth of entertainment. It's very, very hard to do that. Ultimately, it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night in October, and it's the early rounds of a competition. Go and put the tennis on, see how many people are watching the tennis. Go and put the snooker on, see how many people are watching the snooker. Go and put the European Tour golf on, see how many people are watching that. People will go to the big, big events, and they will go to their local events, but the events in the middle kind of get a bit squeezed these days, and you see that crowds are not exceptionally huge all throughout every sporting event. That doesn't happen. Look at football. There's empty seats in football. There's empty seats in rugby. You watch the 2020 cricket. People are sat there huddled under coats and hats. Do you know what I mean? People paint this sort of romantic picture of sell-out crowds and everything like that. It's difficult. And how many tickets do you think you would be able to sell for a Tuesday night in October? 5,000, 10,000. It's never going to happen.
I appreciate it's a tough sell.
And in the same vein, we know we're going to get big crowds at the weekend. So we've got a nice big venue that we can get big crowds in, and we can get spectacular atmospheres for the last few days and the Sunday night as well. That works. That works. And we don't want to lose that just for the sake of having a couple of quieter nights. I don't think that. I think people have to be realistic with their expectations.
The reason I brought it up was the players commented on it yesterday.
That's okay, but they should be used to it. They play anything between nobody watching in Barnsley to 10,000 people watching in the Premier League. And part of being a professional sportsman is your ability to adapt to circumstances.
2020 calendar has been released. We've seen it rejigged a little bit, where some of the events have been moved into September. Was that a conscious effort because the next 3 months, as we look at it
was too intense. It was too intense. We got to the point where we had every weekend in I think October and November with televised darts, which was great from an armchair punter's point of view. Not so great for us from a logistical or players from a time management point of view. So we've just tried to spread things out a little bit more to reduce the intensity leading up to obviously the World Championship.
Another question that was asked off the calendar was the reduction of the Euro Tour. What was the thinking behind reduction?
That's not been that's been reduced so far. It will be 13 events. We just haven't got round to arranging them all so far. So there will be 13 events on the European Tour next year.
I'm guessing where the calendar come out early, everyone sort of jumps on it.
We like to announce the calendar in August time so people can plan. That doesn't mean you can get all the venue contracts and stuff in place, but there will be 13 events on the European Tour next year.
I was going to say, because the European Tour is something that's thriving at the moment. It's a breeding ground for success, as we've seen over the years.
Yeah, it is. And it's doing well. There's no reason to reduce it. It's like with the World Series this year. There was only 5 events instead of 6. Sometimes things happen that mean you can't stage events, and that's just part of life. So there might be times when there is one event short, but next year will be, the regular quota.
Another hot topic is the Grand Slam is on the horizon. A lot of talk more around the BDO picks this time than the PDC ones. Have you had conversations with Des?
Yeah, I had a good meeting with Des Jacklin and his commercial advisors, and we chatted things through very honestly. He's got a set of challenges that he's facing himself, and I don't envy him, to be quite honest with you. I think he's doing his best. I made it clear to him that ultimately the players that play in that tournament is the PDC's decision. We would like to work with the BDO. We're happy to work with the BDO. We accept their nominations, and we review them, and then we comment back on them, and we'll be expecting to announce the 8 players, hopefully next week.
When I spoke to Barry at the Fishing, he was very adamant that their 3 champions should be in. 1 or 2 from this. Glenn, if he was to take the BDO one, I'm guessing he wouldn't be allowed the ranking money on his PDC ranking.
If he qualified, if he participated in it as a BDO player, then yes, yeah. So obviously, if Glenn was to win the World Grand Prix, then he could participate as a PDC player and not as a BDO player. But if he plays as a BDO player, then yeah. Correct.
The other one is obviously Leighton. There's a lot of talk around Leighton being in it. I'm guessing from a PDC point of view, that's been a bit of a nightmare because of the rules in place and more a safeguarding issue because of his age. I'm guessing that's been a very...
Safeguarding is a big issue. We've spoken at length to appropriate people about things to do with that. We've spoken to Leighton's management, we've spoken to people close to Leighton, and a decision has been made over Leighton's participation, which everybody is in 100% agreement with. and that will be announced when the 8 players are announced.
No, that's what I wasn't trying to get you.
No,
it was more
you should be trying to get the answers out. I mean, it's your job.
It's more the safeguarding issue.
Yeah, that is the single most important issue. You know, you put a 13-year-old into a professional adult sporting environment, there are challenges that will throw up. So you have to deal with that in the most appropriate manner, primarily for the boy, and secondly for the event.
Could we expect the ladies world champ to be there and the lady back in the slam for the first time since Anastasia?
Yeah, there will be ladies in the Grand Slam. Yeah, there will be female participants. Yeah.
I think that's a great thing. I think that'll go down well because it went so down well at Ali Pali when the 2 ladies played in there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, darts is one of those sports where there's absolutely no reason why women and men can't compete against each other. You know, we want to promote that. You know, and let's hope that we get some more women playing at the top level.
Premier League 2020 as well is also being talked about. As the decision
mainly by you, but yeah, go on.
Right, standard. Has a decision been made on what format it's going to be yet?
No, it's something we're still discussing.
I'm guessing it's because the contenders went down so well that it's caused you a good headache.
It did, yeah. It went down really well. You know, does it work as well second time round in exactly the same format? Something we're still debating. There's plenty of stakeholders involved. You know, primarily Sky Sports as the host broadcaster. You know, other people as well who are in and around the event. So we take all the opinions on board. We throw them all up in the air and we see which one lands most kindly for us.
Talking of tournament format as well, is there any potential tweaks to certain formats? Because a lot of people would like to see more set play in the build-up to Ali Pali, because obviously Dublin here is a set format in the world, so everyone else is match play. So is there any look to change?
Yeah, I mean, not really. No, the primary reasons around formats are timing and also the sort of status of the event and where the event is it semi-finals, first round, whatever. So I heard some comments the other day about people think this is short. Yeah, of course it's short. You've got to get through 8 matches, double in, double out. It takes 5 hours. How long do you want to play? You know, we've got a live crowd, we've got a live TV audience, we've got a venue that's open. You can't have people here from 2 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight because some people want to see best of 7 sets in the first round. That is not going to happen. You know, you've got to be realistic about these things. Yeah, it's short. It's brutal, but that's good, isn't it? That's what live sport should be. That's why Spurs lose to Colchester in the League Cup, as I'm sure you noticed the other week. Do you know what I mean? Because sport can be brutal. Anything can happen on the day.
I agree. The format works in round 1. It causes the shocks over the years.
Of course, yeah. And it's up to the top players to be on their guard and get out of the blocks quickly. And actually, do you know what? Probably saying the top players in this tournament doesn't apply anymore because everybody said it, that there's 32 outstanding players in this tournament. When I first started working at this event, I think it was 2004, you could turn up and you could probably pick 13 of the 16 winners without too much difficulty. Try doing that now. You can't. So actually, the length of the match is it's more of a toss of a coin anyway.
Well, in the first round throws up Gavin Price against Dave Chisholm.
Of course, Rob Cross against Mensah Suljovic,
which could easily be a quarter-final or semi-final.
Yeah,
so
absolutely, and there's nobody in this tournament who doesn't deserve to be in it, or isn't worthy of their place on the top stage. But ultimately, going back to the formats, then they have to fit into the timeframes that are suitable for the event.
We'll touch on Glenn Durrant as well. There's been quite some rise considering at Q School he was the width of a way from not getting his tour card to the semi-final at the match play. Plays this evening and it's a huge danger. He's won titles. He's got to a Euro Tour final. Is that a surprise to you?
No, not really. No, I mean it's not a surprise. He's done well. Maybe how quickly he's done it. But he's a very level-headed guy, and he's an intelligent guy. He's a lovely bloke, and he's obviously a very talented dart player. And those sort of factors have all come together, and that's meant he's been able to deal with what's happened to him over the last 10 months or whatever it's been. He's settled in really well, and his results are reflecting that. His job, we've seen that before though with players coming over from the BDO and doing that in their first year. His job is to do that over a 3, 5, 10 year period if he so chooses, so that will be interesting to see, but so far so good for Glenn.
By Glenn doing that as well, does that also give hope to other people within the BDO system that maybe will come to Q School this year?
There's 15 million reasons worth of hope, isn't there? Why not do it? Jamie Hughes has done it. There's lads further down the tree who've perhaps not made as much progress in year 1, but have still made progress, and they'll still be thinking to themselves, actually, I made the right decision here because I've learnt my trade at a certain level, and now I'm giving myself X amount of time, and everybody's different. Some people are giving themselves 2 years, the length of their tour card. Some people are giving themselves 10 years, 20 years, whatever their sponsorship is, or their lifestyle, or their, you know, their other life requirements. You know, they will give themselves a certain amount of time and they'll make progress at their own pace. So you don't have to come in and reach the semi-finals of the match play in year one to be a success. You know, now Glenn's doing that. He's got to sustain that now. Whereas some of the other guys who've come over and won their tour cards will be moving forward at a pace that hopefully they're comfortable with, and hopefully we'll see sustained progression for them.
JDC World Cup as well, just happened in Gibraltar. You must have been over the moon with the success of how it all went and the standard of these.
I mean, the commitment of these kids to come from all around the world, you know, Asia, America, wherever, you know, obviously all across Europe as well, to go to Gibraltar and play so much darts in a short period of time. You know, what Steve Brown and Darren Barson have done is sensational with the JDC, and that is now the, you know, the starting block for your places at the top table of darts. You know, that's the you know, the first rung on the ladder. And there's so many kids. I mean, I showed a group round from East Cork last night round here, and you know, the look in their eyes to meet, you know, some of the players and get up on the stage and have their photo taken. And it wasn't just sort of stardom. You could tell some of them were actually thinking, even though they're only like 10, 11 years old, some of them were thinking, I want this, you know. And that's great, because what, you know, why shouldn't it be like that? Why should it only be a football pitch or something that people want to go out to, or a big music stage? Why shouldn't it be a dart stage as well? You know, and those kids, their academy leader was saying they're going to, you know, write a school essay about it, and, you know, do all sorts of stuff like that. And if they can tie bits like that in with their other development away from the dartboard, then that starts to give darts a bigger meaning in their life as well. And I think it's fantastic. You know, and what I can't wait to see is hopefully, like, in 30 years' time, when I'm well retired or whatever, it's some lad wins his 5th world title. I remember you when you were 10. You know, that'd be brilliant to show that story can be told in real life.
Was it also nice as well that many of the top professionals helped funded their countries teams to go over as well, like Michael did and Gary did with Scotland.
Yeah, that's really great. You know, putting something back, because it's easy not to. It's easy just to take out the game. But I think people who really love darts, they enjoy watching other people progress and enjoy it. And people like Michael and Gary, you know, these kids are no threat to them. It doesn't matter if they help fund them a little bit, you know. And perhaps probably one day Michael will enjoy seeing a Dutch kid come through and take his crown as the Dutch #1, same as he's, you know, did to Barney. So I think it's absolutely fantastic, and full credit to them for doing that.
Matt, absolute pleasure talking to you here in Dublin. Thank you for taking time out with us.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.